And most people, they never see this side because they've quit long before. They said, oh, I'm too old.
Yeah.
The time has passed.
Yeah.
I got kids now. I've been married for a long time. I've done this. This is enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And you said, I'm going to keep trudging.
And he kept telling me.
It's good.
We've all watched this same story play out, but Terri Vaughn's version hits different. The actress who carried entire scenes on her back, who cracked us up so hard we had to catch our breath, who became the pulse of a whole cultural moment, somehow ended up pushed to the sidelines while the men around her leveled up into full-blown empires. It's wild to see how fast the spotlight can slip away, even from the one who helped create the shine in the first place. But the truth coming out about Terri Vaughn's ride from the Steve Harvey show to her fire new Netflix comeback shows this isn't just some Hollywood tale about fame fading into dust. It's a sharp look at how the industry really moves, who gets the doors open for them, and who gets left waiting in the hallway. Behind those polished studio smiles, there's a quiet war being fought in closed rooms. Battles where the ones paying the biggest price are often the same women who built the magic everyone else is cashing in on. This whole situation exposes a system that plays favorites while acting innocent. And Terri's story pulls that curtain right down.
I really think that, just thinking about Steve at that time, and listening to him and what he was saying and how frustrated he was getting with the limits that they kept offering. Like it started turning into crumbs for him.
Yeah.
And it was like at some point, he's a grown-ass man and has done huge for this network. And now you're telling him he can only do this amount of.
Let's kick this off with the numbers, because numbers don't fake the truth. 3 NAACP Image Awards in a row from 1999 to 2001, back to back to back like it was nothing. 6 full seasons, 122 episodes, and a character, Levita Jenkins, so loved that households across the country treated her like family every single week. Terri Vaughn didn't just show up on the Steve Harvey show, she powered that thing. She was the spark, the energy, the flavor. She made the laughs hit different and turned the whole Wednesday night lineup into a weekly event people refused to miss. But when that final episode aired on February 17, 2002, the paths split in a way that still stings. Steve Harvey stepped right into a radio takeover, a Family Feud throne, a talk show deal, and a fortune that shot past $200 million like it was nothing. Meanwhile, Terri Vaughn walked into audition rooms where casting directors saw only one thing: Levita Jenkins. To them, she was the sassy best friend, the sidekick, the woman they claimed had already had her moment. It didn't matter how much talent she brought, they had already boxed her in, and that box was locked tight.
Now, I'm a Christian, but I ain't that good a Christian. You sure know.
Here's where things start looking messy, because while Steve Harvey was stacking up his brand, Terri was out here fighting for crumbs, at least according to people who were there. The same NAACP that once honored her later claimed Levita carried harmful stereotypes, and the same industry that cheered for her refused to let her lead anything until Tyler Perry stepped in years later and showed she'd been capable the whole time. Even the man who called her family on set was allegedly enforcing a dress code where women had to pull up in heels and dresses for rehearsals, while he and Cedric the entertainer could freestyle, skip prep, and still sit at the top of the call sheet. These aren't wild rumors. This is a pattern people keep bringing up. Terri powered that show, but she wasn't the one steering anything. And the behind-the-scenes talk coming out now paints a picture way darker than fans expected. Folks who worked on the Steve Harvey show describe a two-tier setup where Harvey and Cedric could improvise, show up late, even slide past rehearsals with no issues, while Terri dealt with whispers of difficult if she slipped a single line. When she got pregnant that final season, they wrote it into the script while she pushed through 14-hour days, all while Harvey was reportedly negotiating his exit. Insiders say the men could joke and skip meetings, but Terri and Wendy Raquel Robinson had to stay locked in because the margin for error for black women in Hollywood has always been razor thin.
He got there early and he was on the radio station talking about, I'm gonna destroy Steve Harvey. And I'm going, wait, we're doing comedy. We're not rappers, this ain't a beef.
But here's the mystery that's been stuck in fans' minds for years. Why is Terri Vaughn still standing up for Steve Harvey after everything that's come out? In February 2024, when comedian Gary Owen dropped those bombshell claims about how Harvey acted on set, how he treated people, and what was really going down behind the scenes, the whole internet blew up instantly. And Terri, she didn't just stay quiet. She stepped out and defended him in public. The same man who, according to multiple people, moved through that set with his own rule book, the same man who walked off the show and built an empire while she spent years grinding for roles worthy of her skill. So what does she know? And why is she keeping it locked up? When Gary Owen went public, he painted a version of Harvey that didn't match the friendly game show host viewers see every day. He talked about power moves, clear favorites, and a type of control that felt way heavier than the positive image Harvey pushes. The internet went wild with takes and jokes, but Terri never switched up. In interviews, she called Steve a mentor, a brother, someone who opened doors for her. But in quieter talks, she also admitted she and Wendy Raquel Robinson had to show up extra prepared while the men could freestyle, skip steps, and still run the room. She said everybody knew the hierarchy, and respect didn't flow the same in every direction.
Was it that for you? Was it as hard as we hear the stories are?
Oh, it's a hard business. It's a very hard business. But still, even with it being a tough business, I still enjoyed the journey of it.
Now let's start lining these pieces up, because while Terri was out front defending Steve Harvey in 2024, something major was moving quietly in the background. Tyler Perry, the man who built his own empire without waiting for Hollywood's approval, had already tapped Terri to lead She the People, a Netflix series where she steps into the role of Antoinette Dunkers, a lieutenant governor trying to survive a political system that's stacked against her. This ain't a side role, and it definitely ain't the sassy best friend lane people kept trying to trap her in. This is top billing, her name first on the call sheet, her face taking over the posters, and her energy carrying the entire story. And here's the part that hits hard. It's all happening decades after she already proved she could handle a lead with ease. So what took so long? Why did the industry act like they needed Tyler Perry to show them what Terri Vaughn had been showing since the 90s? It makes you wonder why doors only open for certain people when someone with real power decides to vouch for them, even when their talent was shining from day one.
My youngest child, man, is 28. So they in that generation. And I asked them, what is it? And they said, Dad, you clickbait. He said, you clickbait. He said, you one of the most viral people in your age group out there. He said, Dad, every clip on Family Feud got you on it.
Yeah.
You clickbait. If they can take your face and put it on anything, you become clickbait.
The real answer might sit in what went down after the Steve Harvey show wrapped, because while Steve was leveling up nonstop, launching the Steve Harvey Morning Show in 2000, locking in his Family Feud deal in 2010, dropping best-selling books, and building a brand worth serious money, Terri was out here grinding in Tyler Perry films, indie projects, and TV roles where she was still placed in the supporting lane. She was working, no doubt about that. But she wasn't getting the empire moves. She wasn't getting the mega brand treatment. She was getting the roles Hollywood decided she was allowed to have. And that part rarely gets talked about. Terri never vanished. She just stopped being the industry's priority while she kept pushing anyway. And then there's Steve Harvey's personal life, which always circles back into the conversation. Public reports have covered claims from his second wife, Mary Shackelford, alleging financial harm and conflicts during their breakup, plus long-standing narrative disputes. His current wife, Marjorie Harvey, has also been publicly linked through past marriages to two men with documented legal issues, Jim Townsend and Donald Woods. In 2023, Steve even had to deny divorce rumors after stories circulated online about alleged inappropriate behavior involving staff. Yet through all that noise, his career kept climbing, because in this business, when a man has a mic and a platform, the rulebook hits different.
He took my wedding from me. He turned my son against me.
So let's swing this back to Terri Vaughn, because while Steve Harvey was out expanding his empire and brushing off every headline that came his way, Terri was building something of her own. She launched her production company, Lady Bird Productions, and started directing films like Across to Bear and Digital Lives Matter, opening doors for other Black women in a business that once acted like she didn't deserve a door at all. She wasn't waiting for Hollywood to stamp her with approval. She was claiming her lane and stacking her own legacy with pure intention. And now in 2025, with She the People dropping on Netflix and a whole new wave of viewers discovering Levita Jenkins through streaming, Terri is finally getting the shine she earned years ago. Not as some throwback name, but as a present-day leading force. But here's the moment that really makes you stop and think. While Terri is finally getting her flowers, she's still standing up for Steve Harvey. She's still defending a man who, according to many accounts, benefited from a setup that pushed him forward while she had to scrap for every step. And that isn't just loyalty, that's strategy. Because in Hollywood, especially for Black women, speaking too boldly can shut doors fast. It can flip your reputation, twist your narrative, and tag you as difficult. So Terri stays polished, stays respectful, stays quiet about things that would light the internet on fire. But it leaves one question hanging. What exactly is she protecting, and who is she protecting it from? The industry forgets fast, but the internet never does.
You're saying his business ethics are like really solid. Like he's treating you guys like it's like golden. Are you crazy? Yeah, we're golden, baby. We could.
Right now, the internet is stitching pieces together. Gary Owen's claims, Mary Shackelford's repeated public statements, the long circulating whispers about Marjorie Harvey's past, and the way Terri Vaughn's career seemed to stall while Steve Harvey kept rising. Folks are starting to see this isn't just about one sitcom. It's about power, who gets to shape the story, the women who carry whole productions on their shoulders, and the men who walk away building empires off that foundation. And it's about what might happen if the woman who stayed quiet for 2 decades ever decides to speak without filters. What we do know is simple. Terri Vaughn is a certified legend. 3 NAACP Image Awards, a respected director, a producer, a mentor, and now at 56, the lead of a Netflix series with her name stamped all over it. She didn't need Steve Harvey's approval to rise, but it sparks a real question. What does he gain from her silence, and how long can that silence hold now that people are finally paying attention? Hollywood has a habit of lifting people just high enough for the fall to sting, and Terri's career shows how intentional that can look. After the Steve Harvey show ended, she didn't fade. She got erased. Not by chance, but by a pattern. She booked all of us in 2003. Fan favorite, heart of the show, canceled after 2 seasons. Then Meet the Browns in 2009. Same story, same outcome. Each time she stood out, each time the door closed, and each time the industry acted like she was replaceable.
So I just keep going through. But then I'll tell you something too. Haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
Meanwhile, Steve Harvey's career didn't just keep moving. It blasted into a whole new level. Family Feud in 2010, a daytime talk show, a massive radio platform, clothing lines, wellness brands, and reports estimating his net worth in the hundreds of millions. The man who once played Terri's boss on screen became a full mogul, while the woman who brought so much life to that sitcom kept getting pushed into supporting roles that never matched her skill. And many people online say that pattern doesn't look random at all. Because in Hollywood, when a Black woman carries a show, she might get applause in the moment, but when the spotlight shifts, she's often left out of the next big opportunity. Terri wasn't forgotten, she got replaced, and she had to feel that. While Steve expanded his empire, Terri was directing indie work, producing her own projects, and waiting for offers that truly recognized her range. Those offers didn't come until Tyler Perry stepped in and flipped the whole script. In 2024, everything changed. Perry cast her in Divorce in the Black, a Netflix hit, and later placed her as the lead in She the People, retitled Miss Governor. Suddenly, Terri wasn't the side character. She was the force carrying the entire story. That's when the conversation started. Was Tyler Perry repairing something the industry overlooked? Or was he simply the one willing to give her the shot she always earned?
So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this, he think he this. You don't even know me.
Let's break down the math because the numbers speak loud every time. Steve Harvey's reported net worth sits in the hundreds of millions, while Terri Vaughn, despite being the breakout star of his biggest sitcom, despite earning 3 NAACP Image Awards, despite Levita Jenkins becoming a cultural classic, sits with a fraction of that. Meanwhile, Levita has turned into memes, TikTok trends, and nostalgic clips that Gen Z can't stop reposting. Yet Terri never saw any real payout from the Resurgence. No spin-off deals, no syndication checks, no spotlight specials. Just an industry that used her talent, enjoyed the shine, then kept it moving until Tyler Perry stepped in, until Netflix reopened the door, until a new generation started asking, why did we never hear more about her? And here's the moment that hits heavy. Terri's silence doesn't just feel unusual, it feels intentional. Hollywood hasn't only overlooked black women, it has erased them, and Terri's career is a clear example. She was the heartbeat of the Steve Harvey Show, the character fans quoted nonstop, and still she was the one left behind while Steve built empires. She fought for roles while he expanded brands. Now, in 2025, she wins the Ace Honors Best Actress Award for Miss Governor, a win for the work she's delivering today, at 56, in an industry that often sidelines women way earlier. So you have to wonder, if she's this powerful now, what greatness was blocked before? What chances were taken from her? And who kept her in the shadows? Terri Vaughn didn't just survive Hollywood, she outlasted it. And if she's rising again, what truths might rise with her? Drop a comment. Do you think Terri will ever speak up, or are some truths too risky to share? Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because this story is just getting started.